Hello, and we are back again for our final segment in this series. This is Brian Morris, a solutions architect here at SUSE. This is the sixth installment of our video series providing an overview to our managed services providers hosting SUSE Linux enterprise images, which can include SLES and SLES for SAP applications on behalf of their tenants. Please note that in the YouTube description for this video is a URL to the setup guide and the URL to the general RMT server installation guide located on the SUSE documentation site. The setup guide has been updated for SLES version 15 update SP3 or higher. Today's video will be focused on the client itself. The prerequisite here is that you have at least two fully installed RMT servers functioning properly with repositories populated with the products required by your clients. The RMT servers must have registration sharing properly configured, along with one or more region servers that will point clients to the closest RMT servers in a specific region. If you have any questions regarding this prerequisite, please refer back to the previous videos and online documentation. So let's start again using our initial drawing. Install a client with SLES or SLES for SAP. Enable the public cloud module as it contains the packages necessary to utilize the region and RMT servers in a cloud environment. For this section, there are optional paths to take, so the setup guide takes more of a theoretical approach. For the sake of simplicity, I will show you the contents of the files within my own very basic private cloud setup. Using that as a baseline, my hope is that you can adopt to these specific requirements to yours. Remember, from setting up the region server, you had to run the command gen region server cert. That command created a cert file with the extension .pem and placed it on your region server under root region serve cert. From the client, copy the PEM file from the region server and place the file in var lib region service certs. Phoenix Region 1 is my region server, and 192.168.0.60 is my region server IP. On the client, make a copy of the original /etc region server client config. Edit the region server client config file. With my very simple setup, here's what mine looks like. Note my changes. First, region serve is set to my region server IP, as that is how I configured it when setting up the region server. If your environment has multiple region servers, then this will be a comma-separated list of the region servers. Second, I commented out the metadata _ server line. It is not to be referenced. That is all there is for my environment. If you had multiple region servers that the client should attempt to contact, then the region server client config would have those additional region servers listed by IP address in the order in which they are to be queried on the region server line, such as this. This example would first direct the client to the region server with the IP address ending in .60, and secondarily to the one ending in .63. Once your configuration is confirmed, let's put it all to the test manually. The registercloudguest command will first contact the region server you specified on the client in the client region server client config file. It will attempt to connect to the additional region servers if the previous are unavailable. Second, the region server will parse its own file, regiondata.config, which once again you created, to determine which RMT servers to send the client to and contact in what order. Note the region server will inform the client not make the contact itself. The region server is the travel guide, not the traffic cop. The client will then attempt to contact the first RMT server provided. If it is not successful, it will continue down the list provided. If successful, the client and RMT server will shake hands with the provided certs, and the client will register with the RMT server in much the same way as registering with the SEC. Note that a successful registration to the first available RMT server in the prescribed list will create a specific line at the bottom of the client's etc host file that looks like this. Assuming that this is the first cloud client you create will be a template and clone for repetitive use, you will want to enable the guest register service so that the newly cloned clients are able to properly register with the RMT servers upon initial boot. Here are some helpful notes. If you do encounter an error registering your client, remember to utilize the var-log cloud register log file. This log file may be deleted when working through lengthy troubleshooting scenarios, as it will be recreated on a subsequent registration attempt. If the client fails to register due to a missing or invalid product on the RMT server, then check the repository of the referenced RMT server to see if the product is enabled and mirrored. If not, then you will have to populate the repository before attempting to register the client again. The setup guide should be referred to as it explains how to display and enable repository contents. To deregister a cloud registered client, the standard process of using the SUSE connect-d command has been disabled. To deregister a cloud registered client, you must use the command registercloudguest --clean. You will also need to manually remove the client from each of the RMT servers that share registrations by executing the following command sequence: rmt-cli, systems list, pipe grep, and the client name. In this example, I have substituted client name with my test cloud client, Phoenix Client 2, and the returned results are shown. Copy the GUID ID starting with SEC, which is circled in red, into the copy buffer. Now execute the command using my example client SEC identifier, rmt-cli systems remove, pasting the SEC identifier you had copied for that client. This procedure will need to be repeated on all RMT servers that the client was shared for with registrations. And with that, we have concluded our RMT video series for MSPs and cloud service providers. I hope you found this helpful as a supplement to the online documentation. Thank you again.